From the studios of Staten Island Community Television, you're watching In the Bleachers, the TV show for the world's most passionate sports fans. Hello, everyone. I'm Jaime Hixson.
Hello, everybody. My name's Hector Bosa. I am
Tired. Because you literally ran through the door all the way down the halls and into the studio.
I tell you, traffic sucks. Especially at the College of Staten Island right now.
This is what happens when people go through rush hour at 6 o'clock in the evening.
It's coming wrong. And there was a lot of things going on wrong for me today. And I heard two disturbing news today. And I think it really, really sucks.
Yeah.
And management better do something and suspend. That's all I'm going to say. If you're gonna do it to me, you better do it to that person too.
Well, that's a story for another day. But
And also, a buddy of mine, a family member died today on my side. And he was a great basketball fan.
Yeah.
And am I in my usual great mood? You don't see me with my drink today. So I am not.
Probably a wise idea.
No, I should have been drinking.
No.
Because
it's never good.
Then I wouldn't be so damn angry.
Yeah.
Because it is incredible what I heard on TV from your other co-host, which was
that's
kind of ridiculous.
Well, that's not really the time,
but
this isn't really the time or the place to talk about it. Besides, there's a lot of stuff over here that's
I'm just gonna say
really, really trumping everything right now, and quite frankly, it's got me a little bit bummed, especially considering the fact that one of the things that happened really hit close to home.
Right, and all I'm going to say is it was really ridiculous. And if you got something to say, not only to him, in the improper way that you did it outside and going to a place where you wasn't supposed to.
Hector, this ain't the time for
do it to me.
This ain't the time to be doing shoot interviews, man. This ain't WWE.
Do it to me. Talk to me the way you talk to him.
Oh, boy.
That's all I'm going to say. But, speaking of certain things.
Meantime,
speaking of WWE, I found out something.
Yeah.
I found out something today about WWE. And that is that Cesaro and Sheamus won the titles.
The tag team titles?
Yes. And
if I'm not mistaken, I think they won the titles from either New Day or the Hardy
it was
Boys
the Shield.
Oh,
they won the story from the.
It was the the Shield that were the tag team champions.
Yeah, and also a third bad news is that our guest today, who was supposed to be here, will not be appearing here today. So
hopefully we can
we'll reschedule
with him at a later date.
But you know what's funny, Jamie?
Yeah.
That the old so-called shtick is going to somehow come back, but at least you're going to have a little bit more fun. You're going to be able to talk more, and also you're going to have more guests on your show.
Well,
hopefully,
I hope so.
Hopefully, we'll have fun doing it,
and
there won't be any problem because technically, I was just supposed to be here for 2 weeks and then do it every week.
Yeah,
1 week, and things got discombobulated.
Yeah,
but speaking of wrestling, like I said, that's what happened, and also. Braun Strowman.
Was this during a pay-per-view or was this during one of the
this was one of those events that you don't see.
Was this a dark match?
I'll tell you in a minute. I'll actually look it up. I'll look it up on my phone.
Oh, speaking of wrestling,
And
coming really, really soon.
is the Survivor Series.
Yep, the Survivor Series is going to be at the end of the month, and before that, ESPN is doing a 30 for 30 story about Ric Flair.
And they should. Now, all the things that I said, ladies and gentlemen, is because I feel bad that I lost someone. That's all. I'm just letting it out, and I shouldn't, and I'm sorry for that. But there is going to be a 30 for 30. And now, the funny thing is that now Ric Flair finally found out that he was an alcoholic. All this
It
time.
took him what? 40 or 50 years to do this?
He stated that, I finally was drinking too much, and it's hilarious. Were you able to find the real newspaper? Is it there?
Oh, well.
Oh, Jesus.
In the meantime,
anyway,
we're going to be seeing if we can take some phone calls. It's 718-727-0143 if anyone's asking.
Yeah, because
we are taking calls for the next hour. So if you do have something that you want to share with us, feel free. We would love to hear from you.
Now, you wanted to get into college football because we didn't cover it last time.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's cover college football. Go into the NFL. Go into Staten Island sports. If you know anything about Staten Island sports, let's cover Staten Island because this is a Staten Island station that somehow or another was not covered before. So let's do it. So we have a caller already. Wow.
Well,
for the
first
look
time
at that.
in a while.
Look at that. I come back and you have a caller.
Although we didn't get any calls last week, but let's see if that'll change today. Hello, you're in the bleachers. All right, we'll try once again.
So
Rosie's on the other side of the glass, so she's gonna put them and us on hold to try and get some help
Let's start with college because you're a good college fan. What's happening? Who are the top dogs? Who are the screw-ups? Tell me your knowledge of wisdom, sir.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that phrase "top dog," because right now, one team that has really stormed out of the gate is the University of Georgia, the Bulldogs. They're undefeated this season. They came off a really big win against South Carolina this past weekend. Now they've got the Auburn game, which is the oldest college football rivalry in the Deep South. If Georgia can get through this game, and then their last couple of games, including the Georgia Tech game, this will set them up for the Southeastern Conference title game against Alabama, another team which, even though they have not been playing great this year, is still the number one ranked team in the country. And there's also two other undefeated teams in the country as well. Miami, which beat Virginia Tech. They're leading the ACC's Coastal Division right now. And also Wisconsin, the best team in the Big Ten right now. So it's looking more and more like Miami, Wisconsin, Alabama, and Georgia are going to be your quartet of undefeated teams going into the next couple of weeks.
Do we know what that caller wants to talk about? Did you find out what that caller wants? Can you please find out?
Anyway, let's.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Who's
is that
calling?
who I hope it is?
Is there something?
Yes.
Hi, Lynn.
Hello, Lynn. How you doing? How's everything?
Good.
The gang is back in town.
And our favorite caller is back on the air as well.
Look at that.
I know, it's been a while.
Lynn, you know what's funny? I come back, now there's callers, there's producers that want to actually do this show. I wonder why. Wow.
My work schedule has been hectic, especially now with the holiday season. That's why I haven't really been watching as much.
Is there something that could hold my phone? If there is, if a bottle of soda or
you know what
something.
you need to do? You need to get one of those cell phone cases that's got the little thing for the phone to be held onto the table.
Oh, there's Rosanna Robertson. knowing full well. Oh, can we do this? Because it's got, okay.
She probably stole that bottle of Pepsi from Kenny.
You know,
Because Kenny's a
probably.
big Pepsi drinker.
You know, we're trying to go on Facebook Live too because we're trying to do, well, I don't know how well this is going to work because, well, I'll focus on me right now, then I'll throw it past to
Since
Jaime.
when do you not focus on you?
I always focus on me because I'm the man with the plan. I'm the hardest, baddest, sexiest man on cable access TV.
No, you think you are, but you're really not.
Heck no, ladies and gentlemen, this is the great
And
banter.
I don't know what plan you're talking about except drinking yourself into a stupor.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this the banter?
Yeah, this is
That-
the banter
thi-
that's being
this
talked
is-
about.
This is the banter that this was talking about? The old banter that never worked? That we're trying to rekindle?
In the meantime,
You
Lynn,
know-
I think I might know why you're here, and that's probably because you want to talk about what's going on inside the squared circle, correct?
So what is it?
Yeah.
What is it that's going on? And which company do you want to talk about? Because there's so many companies. Because I found out today, even though it's probably been out for a while, that Kenny Omega
Yes.
and Chris Jericho are actually going to fight at the Kingdom.
Yes, there's been a like a bit of a Twitter spat between the two, and it is one of those things where it's had to happen, and then now that it's happening, it's gonna be a big deal.
Lynn, is your TV on? Because we're getting really bad feedback on our end.
I'm actually not home. I'm actually calling you guys from the mall, actually.
And
Oh, you're in the mall,
how,
okay.
And how did you know that we were on and the great one was on me? How did you know that I was going to be on and said, let me call because Hector's on?
No, because I hadn't had a chance to call in a long time, so I figured, being that I'm off today, why not?
Yeah, I don't blame you because I was on and, But I'm sure you're going to get a rebuttal
Oh
on
my
that from the
God.
other.
Why
But
bother?
which shouldn't, because at this point in time, what is it that you really want to get into? Because that Kenny Omega fight and the Chris Jericho fight. Now Jericho is 43. He's still in
Right.
good. He's still in good shape. Omega's younger, and I don't know who they're going to give it to. That
It's a
particular
toss-up for
fight,
me.
because I don't know if they're going to give it to Omega because he's the star over there.
I would
Or
say
will it
Omega
get-
because he's the man right now. They're gonna put Omega over.
And the Bullet Club has become huge. Oh, as our president said, huge. That I love saying
Now,
huge.
I actually saw a story about this online, but you'll have to fill me in about Kenny Omega. Who does he represent, and exactly what do you think of him as an athlete?
Kenny Omega is from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right.
And he is in the Bullet Club. AJ Styles was the leader. They beat the heck out of him because he was leaving. AJ Styles was leaving. And for some reason, they beat the heck out of him, but they didn't beat the heck out of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson
Okay.
because they were leaving too.
Mm-hmm.
But they beat the heck out of AJ, and he became the leader. Now they're the elite and Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
And the Young Bucks are there. Cody Rhodes is the ROH champion, but he's associated with the Young Bucks. But you know what's killing me? That Cody Rhodes cannot say Cody Rhodes. He has to be known as Cody.
That's
Just
right.
Cody.
WWE owns the name.
Look at this. WWE owns his real name.
That is so gangster.
Well, no, his real name is Reynolds.
Oh, Reynolds. I'm sorry, but okay,
own
then
the
you
last
correct
name
me.
of
Thank
Rhodes.
you. Right. But here's the thing, and it's funny. They've become so popular now because they let Emma go.
Yeah.
They let Summer Rae go.
I hate the fact they let her go. I believe it was because the Emelina gimmick was not gonna work, and from what I understand, that she was not happy with that. So they referred to her old Emma gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
with the bad attitude and everything. Like, I'm better than everybody else. I started the revolution, and then you feed her to Asuka to have her lose twice, and now you just drop her.
And she fought a good fight. And they're doing something wrong to Asuka, which I don't like. and that
What's
is
that?
and that is she's supposed to be like a Nia Jax. This
Well, she's undefeated in NXT. She
Yeah.
didn't drop the title until she
got hurt
surrendered
though.
it.
She got hurt.
Yeah, she broke her collarbone.
And that's the thing. If she wouldn't have, I don't think if she would have gotten broken a collarbone, they would have gave it to Amber Moon. But because WWE likes to do that, they don't like to.
I mean,
get
I'm a
over as
fan of
champion.
Asuka. I love her. I mean, she's fantastic.
But there's going to be one little problem with this situation. If they don't write her right as a killer, because she's supposed to be this dominating, devastating woman that's supposed
I watched
to
her
cut
in
down.
NXT. She ran roughshod
Yeah.
to everybody in the women's division.
Exactly.
There.
And when she comes up to WWE, what are they doing? She's not running roughshod over anybody right
Well,
now.
she's had like 2 matches with Emma.
Yeah.
She fought a
and
local wrestle. She won all 3 matches pretty much.
yeah, that
So
other
they have her on this undefeated kick still.
yeah, the other wrestler was just an up and comer. Emma,
Right.
who should have been pushed really hard because she's a very, very talented wrestler. But she was not pushed. For some strange reason, it's as it's having a click. If they don't like you or they'll do a half-assed job of you, they won't put all the efforts up. Because I think Dean Ambrose, they botched it up a little bit. Roman Reigns, they botched it up for
Roman
him
Reigns, speaking of which, he will not be at Survivor Series.
because of his sickness.
Yes, unfortunately.
And Bray Wyatt was gone, and that AJ Styles match with oh my God, I forgot his damn name.
Oh, with Jinder Mahal?
No, Baylor.
Oh, Baron Corbin.
No. When he went to the
Oh, no,
WWE,
Finn Balor. I'm sorry.
Finn Balor,
You're right.
Finn Balor, great match, dream
Yes.
match. Now the problem is, and here's where they may have the big problem. If AJ Styles wins the belt from Jinder Mahal, does AJ Styles beat the Beast, or does the Beast incarnate run roughshod over everybody and didn't declare? Because he's done it against the best people, Samoa Joe. And that was a hell of a fight between Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Goldberg. They for some reason they don't talk about how he lost against Goldberg. That Goldberg won the tie break. That Lesnar won this great tie break. No, Goldberg roughshod him twice or 3 times and beat him.
Yes.
And they're making no talk about that. He lost in 3 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever it is. That's not the point. WWE. That's why I like ROH.
Yeah.
I enjoy NXT.
I love NXT.
I even enjoy TNA, whatever
I mean,
it's called.
TNA, let me say this about TNA. They have great talent. Their management is complete and utter garbage.
It's funny. Jeff Jarrett finally gets a piece of the action, and
He did
steps
nothing.
away. He steps away.
He's in rehab, from what I understand, for alcoholism.
Oh, brother.
I don't know anything of that nature. All I know is that he steps away, did what he has to do.
Yeah, he took a sabbatical, allegedly,
Right.
and there was an incident. It just got to a point where Anthem Sports got fed up and dropped him completely.
Well,
And then there was an incident at an independent show where apparently Jeff Jarrett was completely drunk.
well, when I
And that
Wow.
led
go ahead.
to WWE stepping in and giving him, helping him with rehab.
But when we saw him, when Rosanna and I, Magic, and a couple other people saw him, he was sober because we actually
Okay.
took a picture with him, so he was sober.
I see.
So I don't know about the drinking. I don't know if whether that information is true or not. I'm sure.
Allegedly, I heard it's true.
Yeah, it's so
that he's been having
allegedly.
some
So
really internal demons.
So let's say it's an alleged statement because you don't want to claim it's true or not true. Here's the thing. I think when they had Jim Cornette, it was fun, and I enjoyed Jim Cornette. I enjoyed Jim Cornette, and I
remember seeing Jim Cornette way back in the day.
I enjoy the rotation bit to give guys rest so that they can heal up. They should do a rotation so that they can get more top guys up there, do the rotation, and then that's it. Do a simple rotation because they're always doing the same 6 or 8 people. You're always seeing 6 or 8 people fighting. You don't show them pushing anybody else. They're pushing Sin Cara right now. Why? I don't know, but they're doing it for some reason.
Who are they pushing?
Sin Cara. Sin
Oh,
Cara.
I heard he got hurt in Madrid, Spain.
Yeah,
He
but
got hurt during a house show.
yeah, so you know that's what's happening. I know this is not a wrestling show. This is a sports show, but hey, we're talking about something.
Yep.
But you know, here's the thing: wrestling is an entertainment sport, but it also is a sports show. It is about sports because these people do get hurt.
Yeah.
Remember
Some of these guys used to have backgrounds in other sports as well.
Yeah.
Majority of them played football.
And
Charlotte, I know for a fact, was a volleyball player.
Fantastic.
At 2 different colleges.
Yeah, so she was a fantastic volleyball player, and you know, we're going to get to the other sports eventually.
Lynn,
But,
do you have any other stuff for us?
Yes, please.
Well, I'm hoping you guys catch the 30 for 30 Ric Flair documentary.
I want to see that documentary so bad. And not for nothing, but there have been a lot of WWE wrestlers that have been doing work with ESPN. They've been appearing on studio shows. ESPN was actually at WrestleMania this past April, in which Jonathan Coachman interviewed a couple of wrestlers after their matches.
Yeah, and Coachman, the reason why Coachman's doing it is because he was with WWE
For a long time.
So, you know.
And now he has his own show on the radio.
I tell you something. Is wrestling going down the toilet? I don't know. New Japan is rising up, even though they're showing old shows sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's been talk of a lot of empty seats at WWE matches recently.
Yeah, and I don't blame them because they're really not doing. They're pushing their favorites. They're pushing Roman Reigns down your throat.
Yeah.
Even though he's a damn good wrestler.
Really talented wrestler.
I give him the credit where credit is due.
And I've defended him so many times.
He's a damn good wrestler. Problem is, if the fans don't like him, you know what? What can you do? Yeah, people want to see him turn. They're always talking about turning him heel. If they don't want to turn him heel, that's fine. I'm glad that
in the eyes of the fans, he's a de facto heel because they hate him so much.
I'm glad that the Shield got back.
Me too.
But the fact that Triple H was part of the Shield because he wrestled somewhere else, he was the. Now, mind you, he had a feud with them many years ago with Randy Orton and Bautista. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why Triple H became part of the Shield, even though
that was only like a temporary thing.
Yeah, it was a temporary
thing. That was like a
thing.
one-night only thing.
Like, you know, all I know is that the GMs should not get involved. Not get involved so much. They shouldn't fire Kurt Angle. I don't think he should wrestle special matches, and that's it. This is a special match for him. I think it's going to be a good match because
I was under the impression that he was already retired, but as it turns out, he wound up wrestling with the Shield in one of the pay-per-views recently.
But like anything else, again, such as Triple H, Triple H wrestles only special matches. So he's considered now a special wrestler because he's going to wrestle special matches.
Why don't they just call him what he really is? Semi-retired.
He's semi-retired, and I tell you.
Although it's hard to get the business out of his system.
But Lynn, we have to let you go because we really got to talk about other things.
Do you know how great it was to hear from you again? Thank you so much for calling.
You know what? Try to call as again, I wasn't supposed to be here, but now I have to be.
You don't have to be.
No,
it's just that we always told you the seat was there for you when you wanted to make your return.
Yeah,
and it just so happens that now you're here.
And what happened? Jesus, again.
Lynn, can you please tell your uncle that we send our warmest regards his way?
Yeah, please tell him. Please tell him.
Of course, I will.
And
Thank you again.
And anybody else that wants to call and talk about something, please let us know what you're going to talk about if you're going to call in. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, you guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Same here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go back to college because we've done enough. We got 30 minutes left. Let's talk about college quickly. Come on, hit me.
All right, well, we mentioned the undefeated teams that are left over. There's Alabama and Georgia, Miami and Wisconsin. Right now, that's your de facto top four. In fact, those are the top four teams that are in the college football playoff polls right now. So, as expected, Miami still leads the Atlantic Division. Alabama leads the Western Division of the Southeastern Conference, and Georgia leads the Eastern Division of the Southeastern Conference. Right now, the one team that might take it all in the Big 12 is Oklahoma, because they won their showdown with Oklahoma State in the rivalry that they simply call Bedlam, because when it comes to a rivalry like that, so much craziness goes on that total bedlam breaks out. So Oklahoma looks like they're in the driver's seat for the Big 12. Wisconsin, all they got to do is win out, including the Big Ten title game. They're going to represent the Big Ten in the college football playoff in all likelihood. As far as the Pac-12, USC has really taken a lot of people by mild surprise this year, because they were not really supposed to be looked at as a contender this season. But in spite of some erratic play from Sam Darnold, their quarterback, USC has really taken the Pac-12 title by the horns right now. It's just a matter of whether they can really wrap things up the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season before they really take control in the Pac-12 conference. As far as locally, Rutgers is doing reasonably well. They're treading water right now. Let's put it that way. They're treading water right now. And as we speak, Hector just got the Staten Island Advance. So this is the part where we're going to be discussing what happened in our neck of the woods recently. We mentioned before that the soccer playoffs began a weekend ago, and they continued this past weekend. So we're going to see if we can find some stuff that's going on with the high schools.
Well, look at the front page for a moment. Look what because we had the marathon.
Speaking of the marathon, major history was made, because for the first time in 40 years, an American woman won the marathon.
Wow.
Her name is Shalane Flanagan, and she becomes the first woman to win it since 1977. Now, on the men, for the record, Flanagan won the women's marathon in 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 53 seconds. And on the men's side, it was Jeffrey Kamwara, who's from Kenya. He won the men's marathon at 2 hours, 10 minutes, 53 seconds. And for the record, just to give you an idea about Shalane Flanagan, who's the women's champion, Shalane Flanagan is based in Oregon. She's 36 years old, and she wound up winning in just under 2.5 hours. And she's now the 6th American woman to ever win the New York City Marathon.
And, that's a great thing, because they would stop in traffic for me. And I'll tell you, going back to football for a moment, and that is Eli Manning. Do you stop him
No.
from quarterbacking, or
No.
do you bring in the other guy to see how he does?
you can't bench Eli Manning, especially considering who his backups are. His backups are Geno Smith, who is horrendous, and the rookie Davis Webb, who's not even close to being ready yet.
But do you want him? Do you want him to get hurt at any time, even though he broke a record?
Yeah, he's now passed 50,000 yards passing for his career, and that, by the way, easily is a Giants record. But it's also 7th in NFL history.
And you know what?
I think Eli's become a little underappreciated by the fans in this area,
And
specifically a lot of Giant fans who feel that he probably should have done a lot more. Be grateful that this guy has had the career that he's had and that he's won the championships that he's had.
Yeah, exactly. So, be grateful.
Eventually, they'll make a change. Should they do it now? No, they should not. They have more pressing needs than quarterback.
You know what, though? But eventually, I would like to see the other guys go in there just to see, because if they're the quarterback of the future,
Davis Webb, possibly.
then put him in. Let's see what he can do. And you never know. You might have strike lightning in a bottle.
Well, I already made it loud and
so
clear
on.
that they should not make a change whatsoever.
You
but
know?
if they do make a change, the one thing that Geno Smith can do that Eli Manning cannot is run with the ball well, because Geno Smith has real quickness in him. He can make plays with his feet, whereas Eli Manning has lead in his legs.
I got to tell you, I'm not up to speed. I really am sorry for what I said. I shouldn't have said some of the things I said. And it is my opinion. I shouldn't have said it, and I apologize. It's just that I'm really upset because of what happened today and the way I found out. And, I'm sure somebody's going to babble on, and they're going to tell you that I do apologize for whoever's listening, whether it's upper management or whoever. I do apologize. I don't need to hear anything. So I do apologize. And if you don't accept my apology, oh well. But go ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry.
You mentioned the Giants. Let's look at the other side of the ledger, and that's the Jets.
The Jets.
At least the Jets are trying to make something of this season. After losing 3 in a row, they snapped their 3-game losing streak by beating Buffalo, beating them pretty badly, too. And they beat them pretty badly because of 5 sacks on defense and also 5 turnovers against Tyrod Taylor. Now do you see that Tyrod Taylor is not the answer to the Bills' quarterbacking woes? He's just not getting it done.
Wait a minute. Let's do this logically, okay? I'm going to mention the teams. You tell me what you think about them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
New England, the New England Patriots, 6-2. Go ahead. What do you think?
Well, they had their bye weekend, but it's painfully obvious that the Patriots are the best team in the AFC right now, and it's going to be that way until somebody knocks them off, because, quite frankly, the teams that were probably going to be in the running to knock them off for a run at the Super Bowl this year, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and also the Oakland Raiders, have not really shown that much this year. Oakland has been teeter-tottering a little bit. Pittsburgh, for the most part, has played better, but Pittsburgh is a bad matchup for New England, and vice versa. Because, for one, the Patriots have the defense that can solve Ben Roethlisberger, and number 2, I don't think Pittsburgh's defense can do enough to try and stop Tom Brady. They cannot get a rush on him whatsoever. And as we speak, I'm hearing
Fight the power.
Public Enemies Fight the Power right now. We're really going back to the old school with this one.
Also,
Oakland,
Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. Let's go in order. Buffalo Bills, 5-3.
Overall, this has been one of their best seasons. But after a really bad loss like this, let's see what they can do the second half of the year. First half, they've surprised a lot of people. They've surprised people because, number 1, they're running the ball well, and number 2, they're playing, for the most part, really solid defense.
You got Miami, 4-3. Did you expect them to do well? Come on, tell me.
I expected them to do better, but then their other quarterback, which is Ryan Tannehill wound up blowing out his knee, so they had to sign the guy from the Bears, Jay Cutler. For the most part, Cutler has been...
Oh, wow.
He's been so at best. He's also gotten a really good, for the most part, a really decent running game. That was until Jay Ajayi wound up getting traded. But what's really been carrying the Dolphins so far this first half has been their defense. Ndamukong Suh, in spite of his boorish behavior, has played well defensively.
We got to go quicker because we got a little
Jets,
bit of time.
who saw the Jets being better than the Giants? No one in this city. No football fan in the city saw the Jets being better than the Giants, and it's happened.
Should they tank to
No.
get that football?
Not at all.
That quarterback? Or they should just try and go for the best?
The Jets are going to do what every team in that league is going to try and do, and that's win games.
Okay.
They're not going to listen to hearsay.
And we have, what's the last one? Oh, that's the last. Oh,
There's
that's
a South Division.
The South Division, Tennessee. Quickly, come on, quickly.
South Division is the worst division in football right now.
5-3.
Yeah, well, Tennessee has played reasonably well because Marcus Mariota, for the most part, has played well. And also, he's gotten really strong support from his running game. Jacksonville has been so hard to figure out.
5-3.
Win one, lose one. They're 5-3, and they've caught some people by surprise. In fact, they've won more games this year than they did all of last year when they won only 4 games last year.
Houston, 3-5.
Houston's in deep trouble. Their rookie quarterback, blew out his knee. He's out for the rest of the year. Now they have to go with a quarterback by committee. They have to do it with defense.
Indianapolis, 3-6.
Got themselves a big win against Houston yesterday. But Indy, for the most part, now that we know that Andrew Luck is gone for the rest of the year, they're really going to struggle mightily.
In the West, Kansas City, 6-3.
Kansas City, for the most part, playing their best football this season. They had a really disappointing loss to Dallas over the weekend, but for the most part, they've played well. They've gotten good quarterback play. They've gotten decent running play from their running game. Defense has been solid so far.
Baltimore, 4-5.
Baltimore, very, very up and down right now. You don't know which team is going to show up. Plus, Joe Flacco has been hurt for the most part of the year. He needs to be 100% in order for them to be effective.
Cincinnati, 3-5.
Cincinnati's been a major disappointment this year. Their quarterback play has been really, really awful.
And Cleveland, which is 0-8.
Oh, brother. What is there to say about the Browns that hasn't already been said? And just to give you an idea, they were supposedly going to have a trade.
They were supposed to good.
Especially with their younger players. Supposedly, they had a trade lined up with the Bengals where they were going to get A.J. McCarron.
Oh, yeah, they blew that.
And as it turns out, either they sabotaged their own trade proposal or they filed the paperwork with the league a little too late.
Yeah, okay.
Depending on who you believe.
We have Denver at 3-5.
Yeah, that's in the West. Denver's 3-5. No surprise. They've been a major disappointment this year.
L.A. Chargers, 3-5.
Up and down. Lost the first 4, won the next 3, lost their last game. Not particularly great this year.
Oakland, 3-5.
Oakland has been a complete and utter disappointment this season, especially considering that their quarterback has been out because of injury. But now that they got that big win against Miami, this could be the one that could give them a big, big start for the rest of the season.
Oh, also, okay, we got what did I say? Oh, in Oakland, 3-5. The Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, Oakland's been a disappointment this year. Of course, not having Derek Carr for a couple of weeks hasn't helped, but overall, their defense, the defense is going to be the key, the X factor for them. If they can play some really solid defense like they did against Miami last night, it could carry them the rest of the way.
Okay, we have
now there's the NFC.
Right, which is Philadelphia.
Best team in the league right now. Carson Wentz.
8-1.
Carson Wentz has played excellent football this year. And they made the trade for Jay Ajayi.
Yeah.
He's going to give them another dimension. They're stacked in the backfield right now. They're really going to, if they can keep this up for the last half of the season, look out for them.
Dallas, 5-3.
Dallas has rallied a little bit. They got a big win against Kansas City just yesterday, thanks to Dak Prescott. We still don't know what's going to happen with Ezekiel Elliott. Is he going to be suspended or not?
Washington Redskins 4-4.
Very up and down this year, but as long as they have Kirk Cousins at quarterback, they should do really well. The Giants are a complete and utter disaster. No offensive line, no running game, no defensive stoppers to speak of.
And I said Washington, now the great Giants, which is at 1-7. We talked about them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more to say, is there?
No, the Giants are dreadful.
And
They're playing out the second half of the season.
what do
They're
you
playing
think
out the
they're
string.
going to pick if they hit rock bottom? Who do you think they're going to pick in the
Seeing
draft?
what their schedule is,
No, in the
I don't-
draft. In the draft, who do you think they're going
it
to?
depends on where they finish,
If
record-wise.
If they finish,
If they get a top 3 pick,
yeah.
they should get a running back. That's going to take the load off of Eli Manning. Or get some offensive line help. Or get some help at receiver, maybe, depending on what happens with Odell Beckham Jr. and Brandon Marshall next year.
Cleveland too. If they finish same thing, you think?
Cleveland needs a lot of help. They need
What's that
so
one player?
much
What's
help.
that one player that you think they really need?
The one player that they might need right now, they need a lot. They need
Okay.
help at quarterback. They need help at running back. They need help at receiver. They need a tight end. They're going to need major help on the offensive line.
We got
Defensively, they're okay.
we got New Orleans 6-2.
Yep, that's
Hit
in the
it.
South. New Orleans has caught a lot of people by surprise, but Drew Brees has not. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Carolina 6-3.
Carolina's it looks like they're back to their old tricks again. They're starting to play a little bit better, and also Cam Newton played really well in the Atlanta game yesterday. I would like to see him behave a little bit better towards the media and towards his teammates, though.
Atlanta 4-4.
Big-time disappointment the year after their Super Bowl. Matt Ryan has been very up and down and has been having major problems with turnovers.
Tampa Bay 2-6.
Two total disappointment this year, and that's because Jameis Winston has had problems taking care of the football.
North is the Minnesota Vikings 6-2.
Minnesota's caught a lot of people by surprise, especially considering that Case Keenum has been their quarterback. They've actually had more chemistry with Case Keenum behind center than with anybody else. The question is, are they going to keep riding the wave with Keenum, or are they going to bring in Teddy Bridgewater?
Green Bay 4-3.
Now that Aaron Rodgers is out for the rest of the season, I am curious to see what their game plan is going to be. Are they going to run the ball a little bit more, or is the guy that's going to take over at quarterback going to be the guy to lead the way for them?
Detroit 3-5.
Major
3-4. I'm sorry.
Detroit's been very up and down this year, losing games that they're supposed to win, winning games that they're supposed to lose.
And Chicago 3-5.
A little bit better since they made the switch to Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. He's their guy for the future, so as long as he's taking the snaps from center, this is going to be a baptism by fire for him.
Also, LA Rams 6-2.
Another surprise. Jared Goff has been great. Todd Gurley has been tremendous. Yesterday, the Rams put up 51 points on the Giants yesterday, mostly because the Giants could not take care of the football. But the bottom line is the Rams are the best team out west.
Seattle 5-3.
Seattle, once again, dropped a really heartbreaking game to Washington, losing a game that they probably should have won, but that's because Kirk Cousins came away with a really courageous drive down the stretch. But overall, Seattle has played reasonably well. Defensively, I still think they're good. Russell Wilson is still the man, though.
San Francisco 0-9.
Horrible.
Who should they get in the draft?
Who should they get in the draft?
Yes, if they're the top 3.
I think right now, either a quarterback or a number 1 receiver, because they really are lacking at receiver. They made the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, which is interesting considering that they really needed a quarterback, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and I have no idea what they're going to do with him. Are they going to give him a new contract? If they do, expect them to get a number 1 receiver, or maybe get Saquon Barkley at their running back. And that's a guy who I think the Giants should get as their running back. And thank you so much for playing Kendrick Lamar for me, because I am a huge fan of his.
And, speaking of football, we got Curtis.
Yes.
Let's talk about Staten
The
Island now, baby.
playoffs have officially begun in the high school football circuit. And Curtis, my main man over at Curtis, wound up getting the number 2 seed, and they wound up beating Port Richmond in regular season action yesterday, 28-14. So Curtis is going to be number 2, and in all likelihood, I think they're going to be getting a bye into the next round. By the way, Tottenville and Newdorp are going to be high seeds as well. Tottenville is going to be a 5. Newdorp's going to be a 6. In other words, Curtis, Tottenville, and Newdorp are all going to be in the PSAL playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the playoffs are going to be starting either this weekend or next weekend. We do know that the championship game is going to be in Yankee Stadium in December.
Damn, that's gonna be awesome.
They are going to be rolling. They cannot wait to get into the Bronx to play the big game. Speaking of playoffs, they just started the playoffs in bowling.
Look at that.
And
Bowling, something else. Right there.
And
we talk about everything now.
Yep. For the record, Newdorp is the defending bowling champion.
Look at that.
And they're going to be bowling at Rabs Country Lanes against the winner of either Aviation High from Queens or Newtown. And the teams that are going to be representing Staten Island in the bowling playoffs, Newdorp, like we mentioned, MSIT, Patrides, Curtis, and Susan Wagner.
You know what?
That's on the boys' side. On the girls' side,
Go ahead.
Newdorp and Tottenville are the top 2 seeds in the girls' bowling playoffs.
Right.
Port Richmond is a number 5 seed. Wagner's a 6 seed. And Curtis is a 9 seed.
Now, you know what? Let's hit basketball. Let's hit basketball right quick the way we did football because we don't got that much time left. So let's hit New England. Now look at me going. New England, dummy. As quick as I am. Atlantic Division.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, 8-2. How are they doing? Talk to me.
Well, Kyrie Irving has been hurt. He's been in and out of the lineup because of injuries, but they've been really rolling so far. They've been rolling because, number 1, they've played tremendous defense, and number 2, Brad Stevens has done an outstanding job with the guys that he has. Part of being a really good coach is to make do with what you've got. Brad Stevens is right in that mold. Even though they don't have Gordon Hayward for the rest of the season, they still have guys like Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, who's a really, really hot rookie that's going to be giving them a lot of help now that Hayward's going to be gone for the rest of the year.
Toronto, 5-4.
Toronto's got their big guns back, specifically Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Look for them to be a real force this season.
Also, the New York Knicks. What a game they had yesterday.
What a role Kristaps Porzingis has had.
And I'm surprised Cantor is doing that well, even though you're supposed to be.
I told people that Enes Kanter was going to give them a lot of help in the middle, and he's done just that. But right now, Kristaps Porzingis has shown exactly what kind of player he can be and why the Knicks should make him their number 1 superstar right now.
Now there's the problem.
He had a 40-point game against the Pacers yesterday.
And here's the thing: if you could read my handwriting, look what I wrote. Look what I wrote because he is the youngest. Look at all this.
He's now the youngest Knick to ever score 40 points in a game.
He's
in
third.
70 years.
But look who's on there: Willis Reed, Gerald Boogie Williams.
Willis Reed twice, Gerald Wilkins.
The Boogie.
And if you want to go really further back, Carl Braun. And that was 70 years ago.
And this guy,
and also Lonnie Shelton, who did that 40 years ago.
And look at that. Isn't that something? But the Knicks, they're playing D with everybody. Ramon Sessions, they should keep him, I think.
Yeah.
He's the one that's
and also
the team.
Jared Jack, who they gave
is it Jared Jack? No,
Ramon
Jared Jack,
Sessions and Jared Jack and Frank Ntilikina have all been splitting time at point guard this year.
But Jared Jack, is it Jared Jack that has been the best one right now who's doing
He's a proven veteran who's bounced around with a lot of teams for more than a decade.
They have
He's been giving them a lot of help this year.
They got a problem though because You Kim Noah's coming back. They're gonna have to send someone down and have to cut someone.
Or put somebody on the injured list in case someone has a little malady or something.
Okay. We also have Philadelphia 5-4.
Philadelphia, they have this motto called trust the process. Well, right now, the fans are trusting the process, and so are the players, because Ben Simmons just had a triple-double in a game recently. Joel Embiid, when he's got two good legs, has played really good basketball, and I've been calling for him to be traded. So far, Joel Embiid, when he's been healthy, has played great basketball, and I just got the word from the Brooklyn Nets. Quincy Acey's going to miss the Nets next game because of her groin injury.
3-6. Who would expect that they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers? They're going down, it seems, but the Nets are 3-6.
They started a West Coast road
nice
trip, and they're
roll.
not doing too good right now.
Okay,
They wound up getting burned by the Lakers recently.
We have to hurry up because we got 8 minutes left. We got 7 minutes left. We got to do this quick. Orlando 6-4. Quick.
Orlando's really taken a lot of people by surprise. They've got great young players, one of which is Aaron Gordon, who's really starting to show his mettle. Look for Orlando to really cause some problems this season, not just in the Southeast Division, but in the entire league.
And Charlotte 5-4.
Charlotte's done reasonably well so far, and of course, Kemba Walker is the guy to look for on the Hornets.
Washington 5-4.
Up and down start for the Wizards, but John Wall has played reasonably well so far.
Miami 4-5.
Miami's been up and down, but as long as Justice Winslow and also Hassan Whiteside continue to supply the defense for them, they're going to be in good shape.
Atlanta 2-8.
Atlanta came off a win against Cleveland recently, but Atlanta right now easily one of the 5 worst teams in the league.
Central Division, Detroit 7-3.
Detroit surprised a lot of people. They have Reggie Jackson, and they also brought in Avery Bradley in that big trade with the Celtics. Bradley's given them a lot this year.
Indiana Pacers.
Indiana Pacers, it's basically a who's who of guys that's on their roster, but their best player right now, the former Indiana Hoosier, Victor Oladipo, who's played tremendous basketball for them.
Milwaukee 4-5.
If Jabari Parker, who, by the way, is going to be a free agent at the end of the year, can keep himself healthy, the Bucks can go quite a long way. But right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been lights out for them.
Cleveland's
been a big-time disappointment. And it just goes to show you they really miss Kyrie Irving more than they're letting on. Plus, Isaiah Thomas is hurt,
right,
and he's not going to be back until January or February.
And there may be a potential trade.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility that they're going to try and cut a deal with somebody.
Yeah, and also Philadelphia has a guy that wants to go too.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's another thing. Okafor, Jahlil Okafor is on the trading block. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year as well. He wants a deal.
He's a center.
Yeah.
Do you think he should go to the Nets because Moskov is?
If he were a better defender, yes. I think the Nets probably could make a deal for him because they're going to need some scoring in the middle, and Okafor gives them double-figure scoring in the middle, but he's a horrible defender, and there's also a question of his work habits. He does not play hard.
Southwest Division, Houston 4-3. Come on, kid. We got to do this in 2 minutes.
James Harden has been the man, and Chris Paul, since he's gotten hurt, has picked up the slack. Ever since he's gotten hurt, Chris Paul, that is, James Harden has been picking up the slack for him as well.
Memphis 6-3.
Memphis, for the most part, has surprised a lot of people. Marc Gasol has been leading the way for them, taking up a lot of minutes in the middle.
San Antonio 6-4.
San Antonio off to just an okay start for them. They haven't been playing particularly well defensively, but Kawhi Leonard right now has been the go-to guy for them.
New Orleans 5-5.
New Orleans has surprised a little people, quite a few people, in fact. And Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, who I think is a match made in hell because you can only give one of those guys the ball. overall, they've been treading water a little bit, but that's because both of those guys have been playing well.
And they're damn good players, too. Both of them are damn
terrific
good
players.
players.
Although I think Davis is the better player
Yeah,
of the
Davis
two.
is the better player, but with him on there, they should do something.
I think
really
Davis
good.
is better in the low post.
Right.
But DeMarcus Cousins, I think he's a better passer, and he's
Right.
better. I think he's the better athlete as well.
Dallas 1-10.
Dallas is horrible. And
We got 3 minutes left. Come on, let's do it.
Dallas is absolutely horrible. Dirk Nowitzki, don't be surprised if you see him being mentioned in trade talks to go to a contender.
Minnesota 6-3 Northwest Division. Quickly,
Minnesota, they've been the trendy pick to be a playoff team this year, and they're off to a wonderful start. The reason why is Andrew Wiggins. He's dynamite.
Portland 5-4.
Portland's been off to a decent start so far with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard leading the way in the backcourt.
Utah 5-5.
Utah surprised a lot of people this year. That's because Derek Favors has played well, and also Ricky Rubio has been staying healthy and playing the point.
Oh, wow. And let me see. Denver 5-5.
Denver's played reasonably well. Kenneth Faried has done okay for them. Not bad for a team that doesn't have a true shooter anymore.
Oklahoma City 4-4.
Oklahoma City basically treading water right now. Russell Westbrook has done all he could for them, but I still think that they need that big secondary scorer to take a lot of the load off of him.
Golden State.
But that's why they
Okay.
have Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. I still think they need to get to know each other better
Just
as
like
players.
the Knicks, because it's still early in the league year. But last week with about a month and a half left, Pacific Division, Golden State.
Golden State, the defending champions by now, but a couple of teams have really snuck up on them, one of them being Houston, but don't worry about them. They're going to do just fine.
LA Clippers 5-4.
Danilo Gallinari has been one of the newcomers for them, and so far he's done reasonably well for themselves. I still think that they need a point guard, though.
LA Lakers 4-5.
Don't let their record fool you. The Lakers got great young players, one of them being Lonzo Ball, and he's really been lights out for them.
Doing what he's supposed to be doing, according to his father.
Now, if only they can put a muzzle on his dad.
father. 4-6 Phoenix.
Phoenix surprised a few people because they've got great backcourt help, but they have zero frontline scoring right now.
Also, I said Phoenix and Sacramento Kings 1-8.
All of those changes, Vince Carter and Zach Randolph, and they still can only get one victory out of it. Totally disappointing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we covered as much as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I do apologize for what happened. I really am upset because of this death. It just got to me, and I'm sorry for you. I really am sorry. I never really do that.
Since we're on the subject of this, I want to send out condolences and well wishes to all of the people that were affected in those really horrific shootings that took place, not just here in the city, but also in the San Antonio area.
So
twice in the span of a week, we have been plagued by gun violence.
okay, we gotta cut it. I'm sorry, but again, ladies and gentlemen, take care. God bless you all. And Jamie, say it.
Thanks to Rosanna Robertson on the other side of the glass, and thanks to all of the guys watching at home. So for everyone here, I'm Jamie.
I'm Hector. We're done.
Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.